Welcome to another edition of the Motley Croc Show. It is October 24th, 2024, which it's going pretty fast. We have a pretty good show today. We're going to be waiting on Brittany as always. She's always late, but it's okay. She's got to make that hair look pretty. But behind the stage, we have the Manic Satanic. As always, Jeff, welcome to the show. Appreciate you being here. And then, of course, we
appreciate being here.
We'll wait till she's drinking. We don't want to catch that like that. We have Dr. Marisa Tellez. Hey, what's going on?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. It's been a long day at work. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can you drink on your show? Sorry,
yeah, you can do whatever you want on the show. Drink. We smoke and drink and use foul language and offend everybody we possibly can because we can here. This is what we're allowed to do that at. Get a lot of that. We're waiting on Brittany. I don't know where she's at. She said she was popping in. She said, "Where's the link?"
I was messaging her that I spilled beer on my dress, so she knows.
Well, then she must be trying to find you a new dress and ship it to Belize. Anyways, so tell me, Marisa, while we're waiting, how'd your day go? What were you doing? You were out on your crocodile ranch, for lack of a better term. What were you guys doing out there on the property?
Yeah, so today we were at the C.R.C. facility. There was just like basic maintenance that we had to do. So had a machete. I put it on my stories. I put it on my Instagram stories, but like had a machete and just like hacking away, trimming some weeds and bushes where I do the target training because I target train all the crocodiles at the C.R.C. So just making it sure, like, it's all.
Greg, what's up?
That particular area is all nice so that when we have guests, they can see like how we interact with the crocodiles and stuff like that. So, yeah, that was like all. That was pretty much it. I was just, I had a machete in my hand for like 4 hours today.
That's typical, I think, for you.
Yeah.
That
is typical. Well, I mean, we're working on some artwork for the Vigilante Vaginas gang that we've created for Marisa. What's up, Megan? How you doing?
Hey, Megan. How's it going?
Yeah. So we're creating that, and I actually have Judy. What's up? We have the Brittany's been drawing these. We're going to have pink cassowaries for the logo, and I don't know where Brittany is. Everybody, it's a mysterious mess that Brittany is not here, and
abduction.
Maybe the Squatch finally got her, or she's getting the blood sucked out of her neck by a chupacabra.
Probes.
A chalupa
cobra. No, and I want to get into some of that stuff.
Every street dog my daughter sees now, she's like, "Mom, it's a chalupa." And I'm like,
I'm glad I got to sneak that in. I don't know if they thought I accidentally said it, but I'm telling everyone behind the scenes, I said that on purpose because, I mean, you got to throw some humor into some of that. Do we have a lot of? It's interesting because, as you well know, Marisa, you get a lot of these critics, if you will. Some are mentally challenged.
What are you talking about? Everyone loves me, Troy.
No, we get critics. We get critics. You must be perfect, but I get critics.
Brittany gets critics. We get haters.
I love some of the hater stuff that comes under because some of the stuff that they come out and say, you have to. I mean, sometimes you have to give it a round of applause, Jeff. It is so offensive sometimes. It's like, why would you go online and purposely try to attack somebody like that and really talk some shit? I mean, seriously, like, why would you want to do that? But
is it rude that I'm eating my dinner as well?
No, you can do whatever you want. What's up, Bill? You can do whatever you want to do. I'm glad that we have people here. We're getting started. I'm really confused on where Brittany is. She was hounding me for like 20 minutes before the show. Oh, where's the link? And she's not here. It's really unsettling.
Or one
of the truth is out there.
That's right, Jeff. The truth is out there. Now, I was helping somebody this week do some moving. So I was on the road all day yesterday and all night last night. We were in Alabama and back. We did it in one trip, just boom, boom.
Oh, wow.
Like there, 2 hours to load, jump back in the car, and we just rotated out. So I was up for we were all up for like 27, 28 hours. It was pretty cool.
Ooh.
So I got back this afternoon because I wanted to make the show tonight. So I didn't get to see the episode last night of Thunderbird. I didn't get to watch it. So I saw a little bit of the opening, but being on the road, you end up getting bad signal and you can't see it. But I know that there was a lot of stuff on there and people were going to talk about it or whatever. And Brittany watched it. Oh, for the love of God, where are you? What the fuck were you doing?
There she is.
I wasn't doing anything. My cord on my mic is going bad, and every time I go to sign in, it would just completely sign out because it wouldn't recognize that I had a mic.
Well, listen, you're a baller. You live in a castle. the least you can do is get a goddamn cord that works.
I know I have to order
We have a
one.
show to
I
do
didn't
here.
realize it was going bad. I'm sorry.
But it's okay. So I was talking,
in a
Marissa
panic.
was just telling us about what she was doing. And again, I see that the numbers are going up here and people are coming in. This is Dr. Marisa Tellez. She's out of Belize. She's part of the Crocodile Research Coalition with her group, and AKA the Vigilante Vaginas gang. And
I have a picture to prove it. I'm just kidding.
I know. Do you have the picture? Do you
Yeah.
still have it?
I did.
Oh my
You
god,
want
I
me to send it to you?
love it. Oh, I need to show Miriam and Helen.
Do you want me to send it to you so you can put it on the screen, or do you want me to just hold it up?
No, go ahead and actually send it to Marissa first and see if she likes it.
I thought I did. Didn't I send it to you?
No.
Marissa? Trey, didn't you tell me to send it to her before? I hadn't sent. No, I sent it to you. That's right. You're right. Okay,
One time
hold
I
on.
had been talking to Marissa to give everybody a little backstory on that Vigilante Vaginas gang. She says stuff outside, and I'm like, oh, here we go. And
Okay,
I was
hold
trying
on.
to start shit, and I got attacked because she's like, it's like minions with her. Her minions just go after you. Don't say that about my Marissa. Like they were going to come burn my house down. It was a witch hunt. I'm like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. It's
want
It's
that.
part of her little clique, right? So, and she's like, oh, it has to be a cassowary. So I'm like, Brittany, it has to be a pink cassowary. It has to be like a team. What's up, Sean? So it has to be like a team. So we started talking about it because like there's all these guys that are just like super scared that Marissa's gonna, woman power them to death. I love it. It makes me fucking happy, dude. That's these
It's
guys
so
that are scared of
hilarious.
her.
I do not know why people are scared of me. I'm goofy. I'm laughing all the time. I don't know what is so scary.
I just think it's because anytime that there's a female with a machete in her hand, half of her head shaved, looking like a Native American Viking, I think people have to question what's going on in reality there. I mean, that's just. But so we came up with that for sarcasm, but I think it's going to stick, and I think that it'll be part of one of those things that are like really.
No, it's gonna stick.
Oh, for sure. I think it'll be one of those things that are like really, really.
It's
cool
gonna be
and
on my tombstone.
That would be. Oh my god, that would be great. And it's so.
Can it be the
cliche.
picture though that I?
Did you get to see it yet? Have you seen? Did you send it
the
to her?
QR
I
code,
was laughing so hard.
It's good, isn't it?
Amazing.
Like the
It's good.
QR code would be hilarious.
That's amazing.
I think it's really cool. And yeah, you could add something on there, Brittany. Like, did you add a QR code to it?
I didn't, but you can. I'm saying
I
like
think you
she
should.
was saying on her tombstones. I was like, you can put the little
A
QR,
QR
on your
code.
tombstone, and then it like scans to the picture, so they'd always see
No, but I
us.
think for her it'd be great to add something like that, and it could be part of like a whole movement militia, and everybody could get a shirt. They could scan it. They could donate to the crocodiles work that they do in Belize. I think it'd be a really cool thing.
It would be great.
They kind of give, because I think to be a member of the C.R.C., you have to like really do your time. Like you really, all joking aside, folks, like you have to really go out there and do some conservation and work with them. Get sexually assaulted by fish. Get into the water and dig.
All the
Have
time.
spiders crawling up your neck.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's exactly what it is.
But if you want to be part of the group, the other group, if you're man enough to wear that shirt, which I am, and I know Flavio is, for sure,
Absolutely.
be wearing that shirt, and Jeff will wear it too, and we'll wear it on the
I know
show.
it is
Jeff-
nowhere.
Jeff's like, I don't even know. I don't even
it's her.
see it.
It's going to be her. You can send it to our group text so Jeff can see
Okay,
it too,
I'll
Brittany. I
send
think it'd be great.
Okay.
It's part of our new little clique we made up for her little gang there. So I think it'd be kind of a cool niche, and it'll be a lot
I
of
don't
fun.
want to go against a woman with a machete.
It's going to get a little bit of work.
Or whatever.
I mean, I think we should have some cross machetes behind them. I mean, that would be.
I can add that.
Cross machetes with a
It
croc
only,
skull.
it's just
It
a
would be-
background fix. I can do
Then
it.
it would be kind of like
Hi,
pink
Heidi.
supremacy, pink supremacists.
I swear, I could probably design it though to be.
That's awesome.
I could probably do a cassowary
All right,
holding a
dude.
machete if you want.
I like
So
I
do that
think it's
too.
perfect. One of them should have hair with its head. Oh my god, dude, this is the
Casper.
greatest
one of
thing
them
ever.
does have its head shaved. It's the one.
We need to add hair to the middle one. The one with
Which
the pink jacket in the center, kind of. We need to add like puffy hair to it.
But my
You know, your hair's a little wet tonight.
Wait, this way. Yeah, see, I grew it out. It's no more. I don't have it shaved anymore because I missed my big poofy hair. It's getting there.
I like it.
Well, it was poofy on one side.
It
I
was
do
poofy.
remember the first time I met you, Marissa. It was shaved on one side, and I was like, "Damn, she is freaking badass!" Like,
Yeah.
she's
I told
cool.
you that was establishing. Like she was just slapping
It
her
was.
dick on everybody's face. Whack! Look at me.
It was
I'll kill
It
you.
was an inspiring look for sure.
What's up, Merlin?
I don't know
Heidi,
if
what's
I
up?
can Pull that
Heidi.
off.
Yeah, and I think it was just fun. It was good times, and we have a lot of
So
fun.
cool.
And these guys go out there and really do a lot of work. And we did. I don't like to get dirty, and these guys were just
I know. That's
swimming
why-
around, crocodile snacks out there.
Yeah, I don't think he would have handled today because I was like really getting in it with the Crocs.
Listen,
I was.
That's
awesome.
Filthy, like.
So was I. We just had a hurricane
a couple of weeks ago when I had to go crawl into like a culvert of dirty water and everything. And I was like, and I had just spoken with you, Troy, and I was like, Troy would be a little bitch about this right now.
I would hate it. I would wear a cup. I'd be afraid something would swim up in there and get on there and nestle in the motherfucker.
Well, no, I had little fish going in my shorts, and I was just like,
oh, that might not be so bad, though. It might be a good night. Not going to complain about that.
That's hilarious.
Merlin, things in Florida, in South Florida seem to be okay. There's a lot of
wiggle.
Cleaning up, but everything's pretty good for the most part. They've got everything back in order. Yes, I was really dirty last week. We had a hurricane come through here, folks. And for those of you that probably do know this but didn't know, a lot of trees went down, a lot of dirt, a lot of clogging. My streets were flooded. Jeff's place was blasted to sell. Everything was just blasted everywhere. So we were really dirty and muddy. And then, you bring cassowary in your house. And emus and kangaroos and capybara and crocodiles and birds
and lemurs
and the whole entire world of jungles of America in your house. You have shit everywhere.
Yep.
Right. Then you're picking people up and it's
Chris.
a slip and slide trying to
Everyone.
put them back. It's just so, you know what I mean? It's crazy. What's up, Chris? And so, yes, but getting dirty isn't a thing. And that's one of the things they talk about it. And I wanted to bring that up because on our show, we've got a lot of these. I started to talk about our armchair commandos and, our critics are like little nerdy pimple popping critics that we get that write terrible things on the internet about every one of us, from Brittany's fake hair to her added bead braids, her exactly, her or whatever they call us, or tacky Satanist idiots, druggies, whatever they call us. I'm going to say this, everybody. You don't have to dress like Steve Irwin. That was a made up persona. That Jeff Corwin and Steve Irwin wore to look cool. It was all made up. These guys did not walk around in safari fucking bob shit like you see at the zoos. I don't know. If you talk to any zookeeper that has to wear a fucking polyester or canvas zoo shirt with hot shorts, they're trying to work in the summer sun in Florida, they hate it. Okay?
It's all fucking bullshit. I mean, I get it. Like, you have to wear it. You have to have this, like, persona. I was like, us going out, I might be wearing a tank top. I'm wearing maybe sometimes, and I'm barefoot most of the time, or we're wearing flip flops. When we're doing Croc stuff, I don't think any of my team is wearing shoes.
Marisa,
I always tell everyone,
that's your next video. Then you better dress like Steve Irwin.
You want me to dress up like Steve Irwin?
Yeah, one time when you're in the field,
khakis,
and you have to, and then you have to act like Jeff Corwin and walk around with the camera in your face, like, "Hi, this is a,"
right.
And then off camera, he's like slamming some brews, bam, and this is a beetle.
I mean, I'd be for sure. All right, that's what I'll do. When am I going out next? Sometime next week.
Probably tonight on an emergency sea turtle call.
That's probably
not tonight.
All right, not tonight.
She's
We're
like,
taking that.
God,
we're taking that out of the universe.
Long day, not tonight.
I tell Drew this all the time. I'm like, take that out of the user. He's like, okay, I'm going to put it back in the jar for now.
We're taking it back. We spoke it, but we're pulling it back. We're pulling it back.
Next week, I do have a capture survey. I will wear all khakis.
Oh my God.
There you go.
I can't wait.
That'll be all. But there has to be the stupid shorts. And then you got to get the Hooter socks, push them down into the boots so you can look like a real tool.
Okay. I can do that.
It would be awesome, Marisa. And we're gonna share it everywhere. Now, with that being said,
a hat of some kind too. Just saying.
Oh yeah, the safari hat.
Helmet, or like maybe like a hat.
I have everything. I have those like really high socks, but they're tiger prints.
That's even better.
Do it.
That's even better.
Because that's your twist on it. A snakeskin hat band, Craig said. Absolutely, Craig. We love Craig. He always comes up with some shit. That's true.
Gotta love Craig.
Snakeskin's cat. Now, what I was going to say was, I try not to read a lot of the reviews, but I, for anybody that's sneaking in here, that's peeking, because I know you are, you little bastards. Listen, they said that it was bad acting. Ain't nobody acting out there. It sucks at 11 degrees in the fucking snow laying in the woods. We're not actors. None of us are actors.
None of us.
We just go out there and have a good time. We follow Brittany's ridiculous shit, tying barbed wire around trees and trapping Sasquatch and stuff, hoping that we don't get killed by a bear.
Which you've been doing since I was little. You've always gone on adventures with me. So. All
right. So we've been doing adventures, guys. So it's a good thing, but we don't have to dress up like Safari Bob. There's one person in the world that looks good dressed like that, and that's Kurt. And that's the only one. He's the only one that can wear that shirt. He's the only one that can dress like that. And you go, look, That's a shiny motherfucker right there. I believe in him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's serious. When I go to the zoo with him and he walks in, they're like, oh,
Kurt is listening to
they're like,
this.
Kurt's here. Everybody gets scared like, Kurt's here. Look at that powerful shirt. I'm serious. He's the only one that can pull it off. Now,
he can rock that. He absolutely can.
Now, Flavio
Oh,
could
Kurt.
wear it too, and he can make it look absolutely professional because he could. But this guy goes out in flip-flops, a blue polo, and shorts that he leaves in the jungle when he's done. He flies home with no underwear, no fucking shit. I mean, this guy. I remember I was so mad at him because I went to Belize with him. I really wasn't mad at him, but he's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna be in these cool bungalows and shit." He didn't tell me that it rains like in the air, like there's no storm clouds, but you just wake up and there's just wetness, and the sheets. It's like laying in a wet sheet. He goes, "Oh, that's condensation." Who the fuck wants to sleep in that? He's loving it. He rolls over, shakes his wet sheet out, loving it. It's disgusting. And then one of the guys there decided he was going to eat the Belizean pizza, and he blew the bathroom up. We were all throwing up.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I know who that guy is.
I do too. And then lied about it, but somebody it shot up the wall. It's like somebody filled him up with air and then pulled the cork and just blew the wall out. It was blown all the way in the back like a fucking movie. It was insane.
Oh, gross.
So I don't do any of that. I'm pretty okay. What do we got? I'm just gonna have some of that. Little rat with some grass is good. Whatever they serve there.
Rat and grass.
We go Flavio always finds the worst place to go. Hey, this place looks good. You're kicking through garbage to get into it. They're like, oh, they give you some little paper thing that they dug out of the trash with chopped up rat in it and stuff. I'm looking at it, he's like, just eat it. It's good. And then you go where Marissa lives, and it was like fresh bananas. Yes, it was. Wherever he took us was listen. When we got to you, it was much better. We were over there by your house where you were walking by that morning, and we were having fresh fruit, fresh picked food, fresh chicken. It was absolutely, absolutely great. So, but there are places there like there is here in Florida where you get some shit you probably shouldn't be eating.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then you're sick for 6 weeks or you die of malaria.
Are you seeing this? That everybody in the
comments are hacked from Facebook.
Yeah, everybody in the comments is getting $850,000.
Oh, this is awesome. I love that. Thank you for giving me some volume, dude. That's pretty
they're
awesome.
from Belize.
That's what it says.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Maybe you could just meet up.
But
with
they
Marissa
live in
and
France,
talk
right?
money to her.
But
But they're
currently
in France.
But
There it is,
currently
guys.
residing in France.
Oh,
Look at how they use this old dying woman on there like we give a fuck about
Terrible. That's sad.
Look at you guys. It's always some guy in a dirty trailer in India trying to rip somebody off, and they find some old white lady on Facebook dying of cancer, and they use her picture.
That's
Look at this
terrible.
shit. I'm not going to be emotional about this, guys. Thank you for the spam. It's okay because you can spam the shit out of it. It's perfectly fine with me.
That's right.
I just don't want to
Perfectly fine.
spam so much that we can't see our actual viewers' comments.
Well, let them spam.
That's,
It makes them
crap.
feel. It makes them feel special.
It's hilarious.
You know what I mean?
Does the name sound familiar, Marissa?
No, but it's a cool name, Anita Dravo. And they wrote to every single person in here.
I was like, if it was actually a Belizean name, I'm like, oh, I probably know the family.
I think
Yeah,
you
but
do,
it's not.
Craig. I think you do.
You
Craig's
get
got a valid
1.7,
question.
Craig.
Yeah, that's true.
You got mentioned twice.
You did,
He
Craig.
was a
Maybe she
favorite.
thinks you're two people.
Yeah, you get
Craig
double the
and
money.
Craig.
Oh, this is great. Absolutely great.
That's what happens when you have
Wow.
two first names, buddy.
I love it. Thank you for the spam.
Hey,
It's all right, Ange. Let him go. At least it's not Antina Dick. That's right.
Anita Dick.
Anita Dick.
Freaking Merlin.
Merlin, you're
I need
rad.
a hobby.
Yeah, it's
Oh
always
my God.
listen. It's always meta. Here's the deal with that stupid fucking meta thing. This is why I use StreamYard because they
Meta.
kind of can block these idiots out a lot of times, so we can say what we want to say, right? You can say shit
Yeah.
without getting kicked off the air because meta. You'll say, hey, I'd like to raise awareness for veterans and suicide or whatever, and then all of a sudden they ban you because I've said the word that suicide is a word that they're going to kick me off the air for, but now I have blocked on here so they can't do that through anymore. But they'll allow this shit to go on because that's meta. You hear me,
Yeah, it's
meta?
crazy.
You're shit. But I mean, really, the platforms that they have, Facebook's platform is so terrible. It's just
It's gotten really bad lately.
you're shit. Yeah, and they don't let freedom of speech as long as you can whatever they want you to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's up, Dan?
Dan's
Dan's here. Merlin Tucker Collins. He's laughing. Yep.
Dan
You can say
Schwarzenegger.
slash. Yes, Michelle, I did use the word slash, and I got in trouble for saying slash.
What?
That's the name of my lemur. I don't know. They said
It was in a video.
because it was in a video and I used it, and they said that I committed a crime against the community guidelines or something. I made people feel unsafe because I was going to slash them up.
That's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
It's just funny to me how that goes, but whatever. It's in there. We don't care about the inheritance or what you have. You can just go ahead and die with your 850,000.
Fake news.
And it's really okay. Just go ahead and die for us, will you? Go ahead and die
news.
with your money and take it and fuck off. We love that.
But
But
just blow it on stupid shit anyway.
I would too. I'd probably buy a bunch of weed.
$850,000 worth of weed. You better
You bet your
you better
ass.
think about-
And I'd have to buy big freezers too to store it
I
all.
was gonna say, you need 50,000 in weed and 800,000 in munchies. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
my
another thing.
God.
We'd all be blimps. We'd be blimping. But yeah. So back at it again. Thanks for the spam, guys. We had a good time. But so really, Brittany, can you touch a little bit on? I noticed that I didn't get to watch the whole show on Thunderbird. I got to see some of it in the
didn't?
beginning. But I saw you were sending a text message because I was on the road, and you said, and Charlie said, "Why don't you research us the fuck out of here?" Where'd that come
Yes. That's in a later episode. When you and Charlie
who
were
said it?
investigating, you said it to Charlie, if you remember, in a later
from?
episode.
I said it.
Yes, the two
Man,
of
I
you.
never know half the fucking
Over-
shit what I'm saying.
We had some really, if you remember, let's go back for a second. I'm going to say this very vaguely because I know we do have some fans that have been commenting. Listen, in a later episode, you and Charlie are investigating, and he had some very old maps that he was using and got you guys lost
Oh, I remember.
that were not up to date.
I
So
remember.
Charlie's like, I so badly I want to hear this again.
I wonder if they're going to leave it in though, because I was probably upset.
You were fine. You said it so funny. It was hilarious. No,
You know, guys, there's a lot of reality on there that
Dang.
people don't understand. There's so many hours of filming that goes into that work. Like, I don't think people get it when they're like, oh, you just walk around and you pick. No, dude, it sucks. You lay out there, you piss out there, you have to eat out there, you're wet, and you're waiting for shit that obviously I don't think is ever coming. Brittany swears it, so I sit there. But I'm just telling you that we just sit out there the whole time, and people make comments about it. They do. They make comments about it, but sometimes it sucks. And one time we were all in an argument in one of our cabins, and Charlie
Yep.
screamed at us, dude.
Did he pull a dad?
Do you remember that? He's like, it's just enough of this shit out of
He's like,
everyone.
He's like, you're all valid.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He like, we had some tension going on there. Charlie's amazing. If I try to pop him in here
He's
when I
great.
can. He's a very busy guy, but we have a really good time out there in the field, and it is a lot of work. And I hope this gets out because everybody keeps saying bad acting and tacky and Satanists and junkies and
Whatever.
losers and bozos and
Bad
snaggletooths.
acting, what? Like, you're acting to see if there's actually something out there, but
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, and it's funny. So I was speaking about this with Brittany like years ago. So I want to call these people couch scientists, but I originally termed it couch conservationists because I remember I was in Seattle and like talking with a bunch of people, and they're like, oh, you're in Belize, and I'm telling them the issues of conservation with crocodiles and everything, and they're like, well, you should do this and you should do that, and I saw it on this documentary, and I'm like, have you ever traveled to Central America or the Caribbean? And they're like, no, but this is how you'll solve the problem. And I'm like, oh, so you just, because you're on a computer and you're just sitting there and you watch these documentaries, you're more of a professional or your term that you love, Troy, expert than I am when I'm the boots on the ground. And I'm like, go fuck yourselves. Like, you guys have
Love
no,
it.
like, I call them couch conservationists. And so some of the comments I saw on the first episode with the chalupa, it was like, now you have couch scientists and experts. And it's really funny because it's, there are people here in Belize that I've now seen jaguar 4 or 5 times, but that's because of like what I'm constantly
doing.
I know how to smell them. I know how to track them, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, there are still people that they're born and raised here and have never seen manatee, jaguar, this or that. It's not like animals are just like, boop, 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 boop. But these people from the cities and everything, they just think that you go in the forest and then there's like Sasquatch is going to just be walking around and there's deer.
Exactly.
on Snow White. It's not that at all. Like even with animals that we know, it can take days or weeks to actually track them and see them. And I love reading the comments. I'm like, oh, look at these couch scientists. They're like,
I'll tell you why I like it. I was talking with
so
our the production company, Mike. He's a fucking great guy, and we're talking the other day, and I'm like, I love it though. Trolling to me is perfect because all you're doing is creating, and all you have to do is battle back and forth. Now, Justin and I will go on there, and then we'll just say shit about ourselves. Yeah, fuck those guys. They look like a bunch of idiots. They find Justin's like, they fucking suck. I'm like, man. And they don't even realize it. They don't even realize that they're talking to us when they do it, but they just get it going and they get it going. And then somebody in the very end, they were like, yeah, but at least she's hot. I think they were talking about Brittany. So it sure wasn't one of us. But
that was really funny.
But
I've gotten some bad ones though too.
It goes into Quora, whatever. It's like fucking whatever, all the little Pinterest. I mean, these people, like, they live on this. They're like fucking putting cheese it on a goddamn pretzel, talking some shit. I love it. Like, I don't care. You can troll me. There's nothing you can say. They're like, oh, he probably fucks his mom. Whatever, dude. Say it up and we'll get together with it, man. I like being trolled. I love hatred like that because I'm a sick, dark person and I love it.
you're not.
I go far as to say I like trolling.
Brittany, tell Marissa I'm really dark when it comes. I love that
You're
stuff.
a teddy bear.
Yeah, he does.
I
He does
can
really
be a teddy
like
bear,
it.
but I love it so much. So what I asked them,
But you
what I
crack
asked
up
them,
on it though, you know. It's like it's in good fun.
they get really, really upset and they yell at me a couple times. I go, I understand. Listen, were you molested by your dad?
Oh my God.
Sets them right off. Sets them right off. You can get right into them and you ruin it. Now you're getting reported. They're trying to kick you off the forum now because you got to get in there and you got to find that little opening. Like Flavia always says, you can find that little opening and you go pow and you get right in there and blow them up.
Lavio's
what
the
you do.
master of that.
Yeah, it's good times, great oldies. We have a great time with that.
Well,
So-
my biggest thing is like when people are like, this is not true. This has never happened in our state. And I want to go, maybe you aren't researching your state enough. Maybe you should look into some of the accounts that are actually being documented by your own like local rangers or Fish and Wildlife. Like
seen it
you'd
in
be
any
very
of them.
surprised what actually is happening in your state with certain animals. But I think
So,
that's funny too.
to add to that, and I'm sure you understand, Marissa, I think that when like you travel too, so when you go places, you're like, holy shit, like you know how busy you are in your place. But if we were to fly you to British Columbia and you go over this 6 million acres of fucking snow-capped shit mountains that you can't get into unless you go by foot, and you'd have to spend the rest of your life. We'd be 80 by the time we got out of there, and we probably wouldn't even be able to penetrate but 10% of it because it has to be on foot. You realize how small you are. Like you really realize how small of a life you live in your immediate vicinity, what you do for a living, shopping, hanging out. I mean, it's a big place. And I'm extremely skeptic. Justin's skeptic. We're skeptics, but I'm not saying that there isn't weird things. For me, a lot of these people, and I agree with some of the comments, oh, these people making shit up, whatever. There are people out there that make shit up and tell stories.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I know that Marissa, someone's like, hey, we have an emergency. There's a 38-foot crocodile and it's in our bay, and you get there and it's 9 feet.
No, it's like usually 3 feet.
That's usually about a 10-foot croc when it's 3 feet long. I seen it. And then it robbed my shed. Ran there and took all my power tools and jumped back in the lake. Listen, I've heard a lot of shit standing there with Brittany. I've been in some places. I've been listening to some interviews with her. And some of the things people say, you just know that they were doing something. There was some fentanyl involved. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, listen, Brittany, this guy can't even brush his goddamn teeth. All right? And you're gonna listen to the words that are coming through them dirty teeth into your mouth. Like, you gonna believe that shit? She's like, well, Troy, every account is important. And it is, but tell me it's not funny. Brittany, it's okay. You can say it. You're on the Motley Croc.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at you, Troy, right now because I'm like, you are such a dick to your sister.
No, but I mean,
He's really not. Though.
exactly. He does
You're
have no
such a
teeth.
big brother. It's fucking hilarious.
I'm not being a dick, but I want her to understand that some of these people are just fucking. She takes everything and puts it together. That's science, and I respect it.
No,
But some of these people are dip wagons.
Listen, I will agree with you, but I have to be the person they feel comfortable because there will be like out of 5 people, there will be 2 people willing to tell the truth. And I don't want those two people to be discouraged because of how I treated the other three. So I do have to listen to every
Respect.
single person equally, hear their account, and then actually pull through and figure out what part was true, which isn't, what was for fame, what wasn't, so that each person feels like they had a voice. Because there are true accounts out there, and I want them to feel validated.
And listen, Marissa, when I'm wrong, I'll own it.
He does.
I'll say, yep, I was really wrong about that, and I apologize. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jeff.
Like,
right?
You definitely will admit you're wrong.
I mean,
You don't
Jeff
like
and I
it?
talk all the time about things.
Good.
If we're wrong, I say I'm wrong. You got me. You're right. Jeff and I will talk about something. He's like, no, check this out. And you got to know. And you got to be like that. But a lot of times it's some bullshit, man.
Yeah, that's
Like,
the temperature
people
of the
say
world
some
today.
stuff.
People just talk about shit they don't know about.
Exactly. And people say some stuff like
Sound bites and memes.
I'm sure there's people out there that think Marissa's fake, not real.
Probably
I heard she was a bunch of crocodiles in an overcoat. Is this true?
with a mohawk.
Little rascal
Going
style.
down- It's going down the river.
Bunch of baby crocs.
You know, and let me just say this. I have been practicing being nice. But a lot of times,
Sounds so funny.
How does one practice that? I'm just curious.
I try to. I'm like, yeah, you know, if you'll see my face, if you're watching the show, sometimes when people are talking and you see my
Got the
face, you're
face
gonna know. I'm
smile.
like, okay, god damn it,
It's
are you
good
seriously
fun.
gonna sit here and tell us that? Like, are you seriously fucking just saying that stuff, right? But there were some really good people. The Thunderbird episode, we were out on this man's ranch, and he was a great guy, absolutely fun, coolest motherfucker. I had so much fun with that guy. He showed us all around his property.
Aaron's awesome.
He was serious, man. Aaron saw what he saw, and he really believed that. And he was a credible guy. You know, he's ex-military, has a farm. He's an intelligent guy. He really looks into the crypto stuff. So I don't think that he was making something up or anything. Were there some people in that episode making some stuff up? You're goddamn right, dude. Yes. But his place was cool. We had a good time there. He was texting me last night, and he was filling me in on the show. And he asked me something that I wasn't aware of. Now, Brittany went out and did her own investigation and saw something in a tree that I wasn't aware of. Did you ever figure out what you saw in that tree? Because I saw it. I don't know what it was. And he asked me, and I said I would have to get with you, but I wasn't sure what it was.
No,
Where
because
was-
unfortunately,
where was it filmed? Because it's a bitch trying to watch your show in fucking Belize. You need to talk to Discovery about that.
I have friends in
Yeah.
New Zealand that are also having friends FaceTime them from the US just to watch the show. Like that,
So
they're
you
like,
don't-
I can't see the
You
show.
don't have any access to any type of like Amazon or Hulu or YouTube TV?
Everything's like this can't be shown in Belize, and so
How
it
ridiculous
was,
is that?
finally, some friends, because of a VPN, we were able to get around it. But I won't be able to see the episode until next week. I'm just way too busy with Croctober stuff.
Well, it's okay. You be busy with that. I'm just asking if there was a way we could get it to you.
But,
Is that
I
what
mean,
you-
yeah, it's just a little bit of a bitch, but
I'm sorry
That's
about that.
sad.
I thought Belize would have some good viewerships. We should talk to them about that, actually.
That's why she was
Belize would
so
eat-
stoked.
Belize and Central America would eat that shit up because it is a very superstitious region.
Yeah, I'll say.
And I mean, I have talked to you about we have our own Sasquatch. It's only about 4 feet. It's called Sisamito. Then we have Tata Duende, which is a little elf. We have La Llorona. Like we have.
Can you say that again? Say that again.
I don't know.
What?
How you say? I don't know what you said. It would sound Spanish. He was good. La la malanda. I felt felt steamy in here. Nice.
Very creepy lady.
That's cool
La
though.
Llorona.
Oh,
Like
it was
that-
cool.
That she gives me no. Let's not talk about her. No.
My
You don't like
grandma
her?
saw her. My grandma swears she saw
No.
her in Texas. Swears to
Mhm.
God.
She
And
might
my
have had
grandma,
it.
my grandma, that's my mom's mom. So so that was a line of curanderas, and my grandma like, no,
That
that's
sounds like a
nonsense,
gangster.
blah. And then, but my grandma, for her to be like so like, screw all the herbal stuff and shaman stuff and all that,
Yeah.
like in her past, I remember before she died. No, I saw La Llorona. I'll never forget the story that she told me about that, and that was on Texas, El Paso area.
Oh,
You can
that's
say
one,
that.
that
I
is
can't read
one
that.
that gets me.
What's that say, Marissa?
Soy guapo.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
He's
I'm
the
glad
pig,
they're here.
right? Am I wrong on this? I am a pig or the pig.
No,
That's
like
pretty cool.
I'm like soy el guapo. Oh, have you guys seen the three? With
Three
Martin
amigos?
Short.
Yeah, the
Three
Three
Amigos.
Amigos.
Yes, El Guapo.
El
Like,
Guapo.
Yeah.
the guy.
Dude, that was a funny movie, dude.
It
That
was
was
a great
great.
movie.
I love it.
All those movies are good. There's not really many good movies left anymore, so there was some good stuff back then. You know, now we should watch that again. That sounds like fun.
Three Amigos was a great movie.
It's a great movie.
For some reason, I don't know why, but
Wasn't
when I think
Martin
Three
Short in
Amigos,
it?
I totally could see Flavio being in that movie. Like, doesn't he kind of come across
Listen,
like a Three
I'm telling you
Amigo?
right now, we could do a
I
whole
could see him
show
doing. I could see him
of me
doing.
stuck in the jungle with Flavio.
Oh, absolutely.
Just tell you.
I would watch.
This guy.
When I was doing the K-Croc shit with him, I was like, I just can't. Like, he is his own show.
He really is. And you know, that's one of the cool things about him. And
So great.
for those of people that didn't know him like we did back in the day, like, and I tell everybody this, Flavio, I didn't like Flavio when I first met him. He used to bother me, right? When we were young. We were in our 20s though when I first met him. And it was a long time, but it was but then when you really begin to understand his antics and how he works, it really works good. And then you find out that it's okay to be fucked up and try things. Because, you know, back then, nobody was really doing anything with animals like that or crocs or any of that kind of shit. I don't care what anybody tells you. There's a lot of liars in the woodpile. I've heard them 1,000 times. Didn't even know who they were. Half of them were breeding corn snakes, and the next thing you know, they're fucking superheroes. But Flavio has been in them trenches from day one. I'm just telling you, I know, because I've been there, and I worked with his friends, Chris Hunter, all the guys from Bushnell, all the big croc stuff when moving the crocodiles out there when they opened that up at Gatorland and all that kind of stuff. And anybody can come on and say whatever they want. I'm just telling you right now. As a matter of fact, Craig Warren's here, and he knows exactly what the fuck I'm talking about because Craig Warren is an original OG Gatorland guy before Flavio.
Mm-hmm.
And he got me loving fucking some dough ball. I can tell you that. But he knows what I'm saying. And Flavio was doing things like that. And there were stories. I mean, Craig has some awesome stories about like when the spider monkeys got out. And I mean, there's some old stuff. And then I see all the Johnny come latelys and they start adding all this stuff like they were part of it. It was so terrible, man. And I mean, they get to be these big personalities. And it's like, get the fuck out of here, man. And then unfortunately, that contaminates. There he is. That contaminates really true work about what was really going on. And yeah, what Flavio might have been doing was insane at the time because people didn't understand it. Because when we were coming up, crocodiles and alligators were big, dumb, stupid reptiles to most of the population.
Yeah.
Oh, they're dumb. They got a little brain. They got a little brain. They like to eat and fuck. I'm like, no, I don't think you understand the depth of this. And then you got guys like Kent Vliet, and he was awesome, and his studies are great too. And I love talking to him. He's got a lot of knowledge. And when you put all this stuff together with these guys, and I always praise St. Augustine Alligator Farm because those people out there, they really take the time to know their crocs, and they're really serious about it. A lot like you are in Belize, Marissa. They're serious about it. They don't like all the hybrids and all the, making these fancy purple ones and all that kind of stuff. They don't like that kind of stuff, and I get it. I think it's cool to have a white alligator because it's cool. I think white alligators are badass. I think they can't live in the wild; they'll die. So use them as ambassadors, right? Why not? That's cool. They have a right to live like any other albino person. I've seen albino black people, albino white people, albino Mexicans, albino Indians. Are we just supposed to like, that's terrible. Let's get rid of them. They don't fit into the genre, So there are some things that I'm like, it's okay, but I get not crossbreeding and contaminating and all that kind of stuff. And there's some seriousness to it. But I have a question for you, Marissa. American crocodiles make their way to Belize and they hybridize with your Morleti, correct? Or they live there and they hybridize, correct?
I mean, it's not that they came to Belize; they've been here for.
Well, they had to. Which one was first? Because I could be wrong, but I think when the Morleti was discovered, was the Acutus actually there at the same time? Or were they later? Were they later?
Yeah, no. So Helen, part of the vigilante vaginas. So with her doctoral, with her doctoral project,
the VVs.
Well, like she's looking at hybridization here because we have more hybrids in country now than we do pure American crocodiles, pure Morlets crocodiles. But they speciated about 80 million years ago from another species, and that's why they hybridize so much. It's natural, but okay. American crocodile or Acutus, like it's been here the whole time, that more or less. Right. But right now, what we're looking at is through hybridization, we're seeing the species we're seeing a new species being involved. We're not going to have a new species in our lifetime. But anyways, it's actually really cool what we're seeing here in Belize, because I don't know, 1,000 years from now, they'll have Crocodilus belizii from the hybridization of morlets and American crocodiles.
If the world's still around by then, they will.
I mean, the world will be around. I don't know if people will be around, but
That's actually really cool.
Or it won't be. It will just blow it up and it'll be a smoldering piece of shit flying through space. Might be that too.
Isn't it already a smoldering piece of shit flying?
Pretty much, dude. It is right now. I will tell you right now it is. And the reason I asked that, you answered my question. That was awesome. Thank you for saying that, because I think there's some people that really should hear that. And
so
with that being said,
really cool. I think it's really cool. I don't know if I've told you this. So when I was doing work in Dominican Republic, because right now the Cuban crocodile, you can only find it in Cuba. So the Crocodilus rhombifer. But they're finding skulls of rhombifer in Dominican Republic, and I think they found a skull in Haiti. So as I was like speaking with some of the scientists there, what it seems is the American crocodile, what we know as the American crocodile, is the superior crocodile, and it starts hybridizing with other species and kind of just like pushing them out. So technically we don't see rhombifer on the other Caribbean islands because Acutus kind of just wiped them out through hybridization or just killed them off. And so
the American way.
What's going on in Cuba is actually just
what we do.
It's just
what?
American crocodile is just like, I'm the fucking badass here. Like, get out, rhombifer, because we're seeing it with morlets. We see the American crocodile pushing morlets out of habitat.
well, it's like, aren't they like pretty much? They're way bigger species for one. I mean, like there are big Cuban crocs out there, but I think the biggest one I've seen in my own self is maybe 11 feet male, maybe. That I've seen. Personally, that big. And there's some big.
When you were here?
Was he a Cuban? Is he a Cuban?
Oh, Cuban. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Cuban. No, your Cubans are what, like 11 feet? You know, and this is why I was asking you this, Marisa, because on the topic of crocodiles, you said that the Americans they're like, bam, we're big. I've seen them. They're huge in Costa Rica, but we have some big ones in Florida too. Some big Americans like you guys have in Belize. But they're like, oh, people hybridize Americans and rhombifers. So the Acutus and rhombifer are being hybridized in Florida. Like they do it inside the trade. They make some beautiful crocs, right? So it's a natural phenomenon because they are going to Cuba from our coastline. They've been found. They've been 90 miles out off almost to the coast of Cuba. Some of the Americans that we have here have made it there. So, like you said, there's probably going to be a whole new crocodile now. There's going to be an American version crossed with the Cuban, like you said, in the morlets. I find them unique because morlet crocodiles are an underrated species for one, in my opinion. And I have morlets. And because they were never put on the list that you couldn't send them or sell them over state lines in the pet trade, I hate to use the word pet trade, but that's what it is. In the pet trade with these species, they were easy to go back and forth, so it became a very attainable crocodile. So people are like, oh, it's just a shitty morlets, whatever. They're a big, hardy, strong animal. They're kind of ugly when they're older, but that's what makes them cool looking. They're kind of like looks like
ugly. Have you seen Gilly?
I love.
You know
Gilly.
what I mean? You know what I mean, though. But I mean, they're like they got these big fat heads, these big bulbous eyes, like a toad. But isn't Gilly hybridized?
No.
Is Gilly full?
Yeah, Gilly is a pure morlet, and he's just the cutest. I just want to get the side of the snout like a cheek.
You know what I mean, right? Like, so they're big, but normally they're just kind of they're not a sexy crocodile, is what I'm saying. I just mean that as when you look at a full-grown rhombifer and you see the big arms on them.
When you come down to Belize, you'll meet Savannah, and you'll be like, "This female is on fire."
Who's the one that you have that's hybridized? It looks like a 3-year-old glued on his scutes.
What? Eamon?
Let me explain what I'm saying, folks. The American crocodile does not have a symmetrical line of osteoderms. They're splattered all over the animal, period. So you'll see a morlets with splattered osteoderms, and I use the word splatter. It looks like somebody painted glue and went, oh, they all landed in the right spot, and then it just goes off. Now, you look at a real, like my morlets, his osteoderms are straight. My American crocodile, they're just everywhere. The osteoderms on their back are just scattered all over. So a lot of times you'll see like the morlet here hybridized, and they have kind of like their osteoderms on their back will be misplaced a little, and there's some American in there because that's a trademark of them. So that's why I was asking. Is you have one that looks like that? He looks like a Morlet's, but he's got that splatter osteoderms on his back. That's why I was asking you.
Now I'm gonna have to go through the
Small
videos.
one or a large one?
When I was there, I don't know if you let him go or he was just being rehabilitated, but when we were there,
Oh, the
when I was
one
in Belize,
with the curved spine.
yes.
Rick. Oh,
Was-
he passed away. He passed away like years ago.
Well, I'm just saying, but he was hybridized with American, correct?
Yeah, he was.
Okay, that's why I was saying when we saw him, he had and I'm trying to explain to the people watching that don't know, the osteoderms are that row of bones on their back that look like armor. But on the American crocodiles, if you guys look it up, you can look at the American croc. They're never the same. They're never the same. And a lot of other crocodiles, it's just a straight pattern, you know. And then you have like on the Porosus, you have that from the squamosal all the way down the nose, that big ridge line on the eye. I mean, there's just characteristics that you kind of see in certain animals, like when they cross the salty and the siamensis. You get this monster croc, but you can see what it's bred with, like you know what you're getting.
That's cool.
So, but some of those crocs wouldn't normally breed. Now, I see in the United States that they breed Nile crocodiles with Cubans. So I see a lot of Cuban Niles, which we know is not a thing. Now,
No.
they're cool looking crocs and they're already born and they have a right to live, but it's definitely not something that should be encouraged too often to do. I'm not against it. If you want to do that, you're an American. It's your right. If you take care of them, you give them a life, good for you, but don't let them get into the wild. That's not a
The
not
problem
thing you should
is
be doing.
most people can't take care of crocodilians. So
100%.
And they end up being let go.
yeah, they end up
Well,
or
they
they
do.
die a horrible death because people are like, oh, I look at me, I have a crocodile, I'm so cool, or I have a venomous snake. Like the majority of people do not
sad.
know or care for the animal. It's all about ego. And that I'm going to be straight out. That is one of the issues I have with the pet trade in the US. A lot of it is about ego. They actually do not care about the animal. And that goes for like some of those influencers and YouTubers. They don't care about the animal. It's all about ego. And that's why they end up getting, whatever bit or, something gets
dead.
And it's just like, it's so ego, and it sucks because those are the ones that are getting they're the ones influencing little kids like my daughter and thinking, oh, that's what conservation is. That's what science is. No,
it's not.
Craig.
It's not.
Now,
and it makes I have had some students come down and be like, why don't you guys do this? And I'm like, because I'm not an idiot. I'm not doing this for ego. I'm actually trying to make a difference in the world. Like, it's just it.
So I have a question in regards to like people like Troy was mentioning, like there are certain species you just like, although it's a pretty mix, you shouldn't be breeding it. Doesn't this hurt and affect the biodiversity within these different crocodilian species when they are doing this type of stuff, or because it's personal and not necessarily happening in the wild? It doesn't matter so much.
If it's released, if you were to breed those and just dump them out, I think you would hurt the biodiversity a major amount because, because sometimes when you hybridize animals, at least in my experience, you get the bad traits from both the species and some of them, and it's not always good. You don't always get the good stuff. You don't. Sometimes you get the bad, and you get a clutch of something that's terrible. I've never personally interbred any type of crocodilian species. Now, I know that there's some out there that done it. Sometimes it is purely an accident, and some of these people do care, and they don't want to kill the babies, and so they'll let them hatch, and then they go like, listen, this hybridized, it's a pet, you can keep it and raise it, whatever you want to do. But I agree with what Marissa's saying. Hence, Marissa, is why I don't do anything with my animals on YouTube. Like, yes, I'll go out and wrestle my kangaroo and feed him hay and give him a carrot. People like to see that. But I just don't. A lot of people only know what I do because I got pushed out into the public with it, because I have been doing this my entire life. I had these animals here before anybody knew what I was doing, and only a select few knew what I was doing. And it was with zoological parks and people inside that were like that new Flavio. We didn't do that. And I did a TV show a long time ago for Discovery Channel, and they brought the crew to my house. When they came to my house, they were blown away. And then everybody wanted to talk about all that stuff because they're like, you never mentioned that there was crocodiles here. Because I don't want you to know. It's none of your business. I don't get them to do that. That's not what I do. I'm intrigued by them. I don't keep more than I can handle. And I love them. I think they're a really, really cool thing.
I need
Thanks,
to go.
Seth.
My dog
I'll
is
see you
doing
tomorrow.
a snake bark. I'll be right back. But
Go ahead. You run off.
Like I found a snake.
Go get it and bring it online. Come on.
Us.
Go catch it.
Huh?
Go catch it.
I'll try. 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Don't die. But yeah, I think I think she's very, very valid in saying that. And I'm not putting anybody down for doing YouTube videos with their animals because, you know, you don't know who's doing what and what's what. And there are some that don't care and there are some that do care that do it. I don't do it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't do it. I don't believe in that. I think you should do whatever you want. If you're skilled enough to do it and you're not hurting yourself or any of the animals, more power to you.
Yeah, but I was going to say, if you're hybridizing animals, as long as you don't introduce them into a regular breeding population, especially in the hobby,
Right.
it waters down the hobby. It really does. It's you know, people work really hard on bloodlines and, you know, line breeding and stuff like that.
Agreed, Michelle. Agreed.
Animal, especially in things like king snakes where they interbreed all the time, and milk snakes. It's just crazy. And you know, there's some pretty snakes that come out of it, but then they sell them on Morph Market or wherever, and then they end up in the hobby, and somebody breeds those two together, and it kind of, you know, it muddies the waters, so to speak.
Yeah.
Very fair. That's a very fair statement. I think you got something there, and I agree with you too, Michelle. Justin does care about that stuff. Justin does he did a lot of crazier stuff when he was younger because that's what he did for a living for big shows and working with the Native Americans. That was something that they did. And I get that. But if you watch Justin work now, a lot of times when he's working with animals, it is for the well-being. And I see him do a lot of stuff with how to milk venomous snakes differently without having to take hooks and cram them. And he does that water trick with them. I mean, he's a lot of stuff that he does that's actually really interesting. But again, was it a good snake?
No, it went away.
Okay.
That's all right.
That's fine. It might have been one of those. What are those? A simulus? Don't you have those really crazy lizards out there too? Them spiny tail iguanas.
Oh, I mean, I have a couple that live in my tree. So they're spiny tail iguanas, wish willies. I got iguanas. I have all types of snakes in my area.
That's cool. I can't wait to see it.
I had to crawl underneath my neighbor's house a few weeks ago, and because of coral snake, and they didn't want their little beagle to get bit, so I had to crawl under.
You know how almost impossible it would be for a coral snake to bite a beagle. I mean, let's just put the real facts out.
I know, but
you did the right thing, Marissa.
She did the right thing, but I want people to understand that every snake that comes in your yard is not going to kill your family.
No, absolutely not.
But people here in America do. Oh boy, I got this killer water moccasin. They'll bring me a banded water snake. I'm like, oh my god, dude, that thing's just going to bite you and fart on you. It's not going to kill you.
People mistake that all the time, and red rat snakes for corals and scarlet kings for corals all the time. It's sad.
Oh my god, she's doing it again. I will be back.
Oh, I hear it. It's so cool.
I'm dying to see what this snake is.
I am too. What do they got out there? They got a really venomous snake. I forget the name. It's
they got some vipers that are pretty. Is it?
Yeah, but what is that? What is there?
I just saw a flash.
That's it. The fertile ants. That's right, Jeff. Thank you. Yep. The fertile ants. Yes, correct.
Yeah, the skier. Yeah, those things are nasty, and they're not particularly good-looking snakes either, which is kind of a bummer.
Should I wait? Should I wait for Marissa to come back to pull the name, since she was the one who came up with the idea for the question of the show for the winner of the game?
Yes. Yeah, let's definitely wait for her for that. 100%. Okay. Because we're getting towards the end. It doesn't seem like we've been here that long, but we have.
No, not at all.
Man, it does.
We have a good flow. We're waiting for you because she's going to do the name and the announcement thing, and I really want to hear how this goes between you guys. Do you want me and Jeff to get out of this picture? Are you guys good with us being here and part of this? Or okay, I just want to make sure.
You're so ridiculous.
No, I just want to make sure.
It's for the show. No, it's just funny because I was talking to Marissa, and then I came up with the idea, and then she was like, "Oh my god!" on the first episode, because like you coming up with that name changed Maya's life forever. So.
It did. It truly did.
I love Maya. I remember Maya when she was teeny tiny. Now she's just a junior Marissa out there, right? Okay.
I have to say, I do love the fact that she's like Little Miss Scientist, which is actually quite awesome. Like spitting out crap that she's watching our show, and she's like, actually, this could happen.
Mom, why didn't they do this? I like how they use big words.
She did. And then like the necropsy, she's been in necropsies with me since literally, maybe this is TMI, but I don't care because I thought it was an awesome moment. It was a month after she was born. I had to do a necropsy on a crocodile, but there is a picture of me breastfeeding Maya, and I
awesome
people how to do the necropsy because I had to like take care of my baby and I couldn't do the necropsy. So like
that's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. That's real field work, man.
No, I mean
Now Discovery Channel wouldn't allow that.
No.
I'm not gonna have no titties out on the screen. But would you get in a bikini and jump on the back of a crocodile for us and make it steamy?
Yeah, that's right.
They'll do that. But you can't breastfeed.
I can't breastfeed.
Because that's normal.
Something
But
natural.
you can dress seductively. You can seduce the neighborhood. I know someone that seduces the neighborhood. And I know you're watching. You're watching.
Oh my God. This is hilarious.
But go ahead, Brittany. Let's do it.
Okay, well,
Okay.
out of all the comments, we had 4 that actually got it right. One of them actually like nailed it right away. I don't even think that they even had to go back and watch the show. Yeah, I was like really impressed. So I have 4. I cut them up and they went in my cup because I'm like, I got to do this like right. And then I was going to make a reel and I thought, no, because then they're going to think it's rigged. So moving the jar to the side. This is 100% not rigged. Oh my God. Ange.
No.
Do you see?
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome, Ange. Well, way to go.
Congratulations, man.
I like
How
that.
funny.
Ange is our friend that lives up near Salem. Yep.
Man, that's hilarious. Well, the other 3, you guys, I'm going to be doing episode 2. So I'll be making a abominable snowman painting. So I'll be going up for another one of that. I'll be picking a piece of the show. I'll be doing that next. So Angie, you know how to get a hold of me through social media. You got the painting.
Good job,
Here.
Ange. Congrats.
I'll
Brittany,
show-
you sure
I'll
you
put
just
it-
didn't
hold
write
on.
Ange's name on all 4 of those pieces of paper?
No, I've got everybody.
I'm just kidding. Guys, I'm joking. That was a joke. For those of
I
you
got
taking it
everybody
serious.
else here. And you all saw me. No peeking.
But so all those people got it right? Oh, she can't hear me without her. Okay, maybe she can. So all those people got it right. So who all got it right? Can we at least give them a round of applause and tell me the names? Who got
Absolutely,
it
we
right?
can. So
Let's
have,
let's Maya
top
and who
4
else?
So the Maya was on it. Samantha Daniel. She was another
Yep.
one that got Chalupa correctly. Sosa, I believe, is a new fan of the show. He also nailed it. He got it right. He was a winner. Winner, chicken dinner. And also Jeff Will was another solid winner. He was the one that in the comments actually wrote it right away without even, he's like, let's go, Chalupa. He like knew immediately. I was like, that's amazing. So yeah.
So out of all 5 people that watched the show, 4 of them got it right. That's great.
All the 5 people. Oh my God. No. So a couple of people are like trying to figure out. They're like, well, we know it's a Linko Sphinx. And like, they're like trying to pin in like, some people are like Chalupa. And then somebody else was like, oh, it's Chalupa. Like, I'm like, you can't just.
I so wish Charlie was here. He has it tattooed on his leg.
He does. He does.
Charlie went and tattooed a Chalupa on his thigh, and it is badass.
Wait.
There
No,
it is,
it actually
Angie.
says Chalupa.
It is a Chalupa.
Chalupa Cabra, I
It's a
believe.
Chalupa
It's a Chalupa
Cabra.
Cabra.
I thought like he actually like it says like Chalupa, like he got it tattooed.
It says Chalupa Cobbler.
Chalupa Cabra.
It's literally on his leg.
And then when we were filming at our station house, he made us chalupa cobblers. He bakes. He made, there was a little thing. Brittany will have to send you the video.
I'll send you the
It was
video.
really late at night. It was done very.
It was
we did
2:30 in the
we did a
morning.
terrible job of it, but you kind of get the gist of what we were doing. But it was a terrible job. We really fucked it up because we were tired.
Yeah.
This
It
day
was
before we
2:30
left.
It was 2:30 in the morning, and we were.
We had
supposed
just
to
got
leave
back
in
from
the
it.
morning.
Brittany had us in an investigation, and we get back late, and then he's like, "Let's do it." So it was like cooking with cryptids or something. It was funny.
Yeah, cooking. I made the whole.
And he
thing.
made a real chalupa. It had cherry filling. It had teeth on it, and it like bled out when you baked it. So
Yep.
when you cut it open, it would bleed like a chalupa cobbler.
God, that's amazing.
So maybe we can do chalupa cobblers at one of Marissa's big events.
Oh my God, that'd be hilarious. That'd be awesome.
Little mini ones. Chalupa cobbler candies. I don't eat that shit anymore, but I'll watch.
Interesting though. This would be a fun question to ask because speaking of the chalupa, the canis, the canine, the Mexican wolf is endangered, right? And so what's really fascinating about this is the fact that it's interbreeding with coyote, right? And there's something else in there in the DNA sequencing. But it's like, is the animal aware and it's trying to keep its lineage by interbreeding with other canines to keep that genus like still moving throughout? You know what I mean? Like you start to wonder, like, what is the intelligence behind the animal thinking my line is starting to go? how else can I keep it going? Do I, you know what I mean? Like, I know it's a little off topic, but just thinking out loud. Because I find that very strange that the Mexican wolf, which is popping up in these weird Canis hybrid species that are happening in the wild, the Mexican wolf is one of the main boom, like right away. And then you got the coyote, and like you've got this weird hairless gene that's following it. But I find that strange that it's like this animal is endangered and it's already breeding with the coyotes. It's weird.
That's actually really interesting, honestly.
Yeah. And I started thinking about that.
I mean, it's similar in regards of what we see with like the morelettes and the American crocodiles, where they live in symmetry. Like their habitat overlaps. It was just like in the 1950s, because we almost hunted them to extinction. It's like, we can't find another partner to breed with, but you're close enough, so let's get it on. And that's where you started to see this increase in hybridization. And so
question.
That makes sense.
So then, is it wrong to do that with people too?
Oh my God.
I have to ask you a fucking question. I know there's an audience member out there who wants to know. Like, if it's terrible for two beautiful crocodiles to be in love, one's green, one's black, and they make love and they have a beautiful little croca baby, is it wrong that we hybridize with other humans too? Because all of us humans, if you really look into the evolutionary process of humans, they've evolved from where they're from. You know, Marisa and I were talking about that the other day too, like from their diets to the way they handle, like, you know, you've got Eskimos that live on whale meat their whole life. You know, they've got larger nostrils, oxygen's lower, they need more air to the brain, so their nostrils are larger. I mean, there's so many things. So what if you hybridize with an Eskimo and you had little nostrils? Would you die up there if you don't get it? I can't breathe, Dad. You slept with a white woman.
Oh my God. Marissa's like,
I know. I'm joking, but I mean, what's the difference? I want to know the difference. I'm asking for the crowd. What's the difference?
Okay, so one, we're not hybridizing because we're all the same species.
But are crocodiles kind of, I mean, I know they have different DNA and stuff and different genetics, but aren't they kind of the same? Because you can't really cross an alligator and a crocodile, but you can mix all crocodiles.
But that's the thing. They're crocodilians, but you have the genus alligator, the genus crocodilus.
Okay, like, but now hold on.
Separate.
What about, listen, Marisa, and nobody believed me when I talked about it in the show. They're like, what the fuck? Even Justin was like, fuck off. I'm like, no, it happened. There are cell-cutted tortoises hybridized with redfoots. Totally different genuses, totally different animals, and we have them. They're breeding. Okay? We have radiated redfoots now. Radiated redfoot hybridization. So my point is it possible? Could maybe an alligator hybridize with a crocodile? I mean, it's just an honest question. I mean.
So St. Augustine Alligator Farm, I remember them talking about this because they have crocodiles and alligators in that one big pit, and they've never seen them hybridize. But at the same time, if there are others of the opposite sex within their genus, that they're probably just still going to go, you know, I'm going to go with that alligator. I'm an alligator. I'm a crocodile. I'm going to go mate with that crocodile. But I do want to say someone tried it before, trying to crossbreed an alligator and a crocodile, and just it never fully formed within the egg. So there's something within the crocodilian DNA that's just like, not going to happen.
Interesting. Now, crocodiles or caimans and alligators can hybridize, apparently.
Yes, but they're
I've seen them. They look really weird too.
Family and stuff. But the other thing is the tortoise. I think they've been around longer than crocodilians. So there can be something funky in their DNA that allows that crazy like crossbreeding.
Yeah, I could be wrong, guys, so don't hold this against me, but I believe one of the oldest tortoise species on the planet is the Chaco. I think. Isn't there some origin to the Galapagos and the Chaco? I think somebody was saying one time. We have to look into that because now I have the Burmese tortoises too, the Burmese mountain tortoises, and they're very old. Matter of fact, they act like alligators. They build nests, like these big nests, and they guard them. And the male goes off and eats and comes back, and then she's like, "Thank you, sweetie. I'm gonna go get some grass." And then she goes and comes back. Like they make this whole thing. So they're like birds. They literally build a nest. It's like one of the coolest things to watch. They're kind of flat to the ground, and they live in the water all the time. They're always in the pool, always.
So, because I mean, that makes sense though. They're similar to the birds because they're all descended from archosaurs. And so, like,
wow, that's awesome.
the split from the archosaur, you have the true reptiles, which would be, or archosaur. I'm sorry, that's what it was. There was some archosaurian type, and then you had the two splits into archosaur and the true reptiles. And so the true reptiles, like the tortoises, the lizards, and all that. And then you had archosaurs, and from archosaurs, you got crocodilians and birds. So there is, there's going to be some traits similar with
really cool
crocodilians.
So to break it down, because I'm glad you're here because you're breaking things down that I want to ask. And people have asked me this too. Like they'll ask me, I really don't know. And like, that's why I was talking about hybridizing people, right? I was meaning it as a joke, but there's traits with each individual race of human that they have that you can combine, right? Like crocodiles, like, okay, if you mix a saltwater croc with a siamensis, you get a gigantic crocodile. Like if you get this, you know what I'm saying? They're all crocodiles, but they can breed, right? Just like we're all humans and we can interbreed or whatever. So it's kind of like we are hybridizing, like, so if you're part Native American, we have a little bit more of the olive skin or the reddish skin, and we can tolerate the sun a little more than, the honky from fucking England. You know what I mean? They come here, lay on the beach, and they look like a lobster when they leave, dude. Have you seen what they do to themselves? I've seen purple English people here. It's like, did someone not tell you what to do when you come to the country? Like, you can't just walk around the beach like that with your shirt off. Now they have nipple cancer when they get home. It's all a fucking terrible thing. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things where I got to bring humor into it because people come here for that. But I wanted to ask that question because crocodiles can hybridize with any crocodiles can interbreed, just like dogs. I mean, how many dogs are different subspecies of dogs? I mean, they're all the same species, canines, but man, they cross too. But if you cross the wrong ones, they die. Like you can't, a female Chihuahua can conceive from a pit bull. It's like impossible. It could be artificially done, but she'll die. But if you rotate it and the female's a pit bull, right? You get these little weird looking Chihuahuas with pit bull bodies. I mean, it's not right. It's funny, but it's not right. But so that's why I was asking with people, because it's the same kind of thing. Because I think it kind of sometimes wouldn't that kind of contaminate a lot? I mean, because you being Apache, you understand how proud the Apaches are. And when they started intermixing with whites and Mexicans and stuff, there was a lot of the older Apache. They didn't like that shit. I mean, I read a lot about that. The Native Americans did not like that.
Absolutely.
The Japanese don't like it either. They can't stand it when you mix. Yeah. They don't like it. I mean, old world Japanese people, they're very traditional about themselves and they follow it. So, people just find a reason to say that you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. And I was just curious if we could it's just a topic I like to poke the bull because people want to know things, and I have an academic here that understands the science of it too. And so that's, I wanted to ask that question.
So the cool thing is, so you're going back though, like, with the Inuits, the larger nostrils or whatever. But one thing a lot of people don't realize is that, especially as we grow, our bodies can adapt. Even if we didn't get that natural gene, we're always there's always like a little bit of a mini evolution within us. And so that's why with even just the one generation, because everyone's always looking at their cell phone and they're going like this, now the next generation, they're developing another vertebrae in their neck. And that's just within one generation. And then there's also something with like,
so that's definitely a mutation.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, but it's like, because the parents or whatever were doing something, so the next generation is already evolving to adapt to us looking.
Brittany, you better put some shoulder straps on your kids. You don't want to walk around looking like Igor and shit like that.
My daughter does not have a phone right now. She's not climb trees, play on the beach, get muddy.
Brittany's kids have phones because they just have phones, but they shouldn't look.
They don't have any phones.
Make them look like. Well, you know what I mean. They have technology.
Yeah, they have iPads.
Yeah, but Finn's a little whiz kid. He's a little different.
But here in Belize, I mean, the thing is, like, here in Belize though too, like, kids, you just go to the beach and you're like, bye. Everyone says we're the U.S. in the 1960s, where kids are just bye, bike, and you might see them later that night.
And then after dark, when it gets dark,
or they get ate by a crocodile, or a harpy eagle takes them. That's another thing. The Mayans were killing those fucking birds because they would see monkey skulls in the nests and stuff. Flavia don't talk about that. So they were killing the harpies. They thought the harpies were stealing their children. Now, it's very possible for a harpy eagle to take a small 2 or 3 year old child and kill him. 1,000,000,000%. Because until you see one in person, let me tell you something. Those are some big motherfuckers, dude. They could definitely kill your kid. A little
They're
kid.
a cool looking
100%.
bird, though.
Yeah,
They're
they're
a cool
so
looking bird.
Oh, they demand power when you see them. They're like, look. But don't they feed on the howler monkeys and so on and so forth?
They'll feed on howler monkeys and spider monkeys here and some of the other small mammals in Belize.
Poor things, little guys. He's just having a banana, relaxing. He gets taken by a fucking pterodactyl.
And that's
No.
not a way to die. I would not want to
monkeys-
die that way.
Spider monkeys are pieces of shit. And howler monkeys.
Thank you for saying that. A lot of people feel that way, dude. Someone's going to be mad, dude. They're going to be so pissed. Did you hear her? How could she call herself a woman of nature? Because there's some animals that are just fucking dicks, folks. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Dicks.
I've had wild howler monkeys like try to like throw their poop on me when I'm just like doing a hike. Like, no. There's a lot of primates like there. Oh,
There's
when
people like that too.
You,
I'm just saying.
they're like, oh, we need you to help out with the chimps, and I was like,
Nope.
safe. Oh,
No.
Not chimpanzees.
But we're very close to them. I've often wondered if we could hybridize with them, like legit. I think people have done that. I'm sorry. I know that it's not moral, but I know that they're hybridizing with primates. Absolutely. I really believe they've done it.
I know
somewhere.
that there was testing on it, and
Well, Hitler was doing it. He was trying to do it.
It was not. It's kind of like what Marisa was saying earlier, how it wasn't forming in the egg. So like that was the same process that the Germans were having when trying to do this with human and ape, because they're like, well,
The bottom line is we're a primate, but we're a primate. End of story. I mean, I don't care if you're a creationist or an evolutionist or whatever. We're a primate, man. Right? We're a primate. Somewhere along the line, there's some connection between us and a primate, because we act like primates. Like over time, like if you read like over time how humans became dark ages, and then they did this and they did like when we went to Belize, we learned about, you know, the Mayan civilization, and there were like these little rooms, and then the rooms that were taller, I think, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Marissa, but if they were a certain height, they were like royalty. If they were small, they were just pushed down as peasants. Mm-hmm. But there was one king and queen, and then this dude had like 50 bitches, dude. He's like, oh, I think I'll go in there and I'll take who do I want tonight? I like the one with the mole on her chin. I'm going to go take her. And then they go and they fucking do this. And then over time, it turns into this monogamous thing. But there's already studies of migrational Neanderthals, right? Like the females never really moved. They were like, they ran it kind of like the ringtail lemurs do. But the males, they were finding their DNA and their bones and stuff all the way down, like when they were doing all this testing. And then one time they get to these burial sites in these caves, and their Homo sapien just appeared. I'm still baffled by that, and that's interesting science to me, and I really liked reading about it. And so this Homo sapien just appeared, and then there was hybridized Homo sapien Neanderthal remains. Then no more Neanderthal. So either he was pushed out into the woods and he became Bigfoot, or Gigantopithecus killed him off, because that a 10 or 11 foot orangutan is no joke. I'm sorry, that's fucked.
From Southeast Asia, hell
I would just kill myself. I'm not waiting to see what he does to me. I don't want my dick being bit off. I don't want my arms ripped off. I'm just going to kill myself right there. So there's something to that.
But then all of a sudden that whole thing went up on its head when they found remains of a different family genus that existed at the exact same time as Neanderthal and Homo sapiens, was the Denisovans. They found them in 200010 in the Dennis Caves, and they're like, wait a minute, what the fudge? This changes everything. And now they're
crazy, ain't it, Jeff? And
it's just swirling around my brain. I'm just absorbing everything
because it's crazy that all that's been like. So they found a whole other species of that
existed and interbred at the same time. Like what the fudge?
What's the island, Marissa, where the guy tried to save him and teach him about Jesus, and they killed his ass?
Oh, that was
New York.
Not New York.
But
India. It was in India.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's the name of the island? Pekingese or whatever. Pekingese or whatever.
It starts with an M.
The Meganese or something. It's a neat name. But I was talking to Marissa, and we were talking about it, but they're still very primitive. And they said that they've lived on that island. I don't know how many's left. Maybe there's probably like 20 or 30 of them left. Because here's what I'm asking.
50. I think it was like 50 people. It was like all those
for 10,000 years, you're fucking your sister. I'm sorry, Brittany.
There's
nowhere
Andaman. North Sentinel Island.
The Sentinels. There's nobody there, Marissa. So they said that the island has been isolated for 10,000 years and nobody's been to go in it. Like there was a French man.
The government protects it.
There was a French man, and somebody from the Indian government that went there and they traded with them, and there's footage of them trading, but nobody got to go in the island. There could be species of animals that exist there that we know nothing about, for one.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But 10,000 years of people fucking? Are you goddamn serious? It's a little island. Somebody's doing grandma and grandpa, dude. Like,
I know this.
There's no way that they're not fucked up. That's what I'm saying. They're not fucked up though, Brittany. So the incest thing is kind of weird.
Well, yeah.
Like in England, they did it, and everybody had long jaws. What they call them, long jaws and shit.
Read it out.
Well,
no,
that's a real thing, right, Jeff? You know, we talked about it once.
I never really
when the royalty kept doing it, and their bodies were long or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I never.
But it didn't happen on that island. It's not weird to you? I'm sorry, Brittany. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I never thought about this too much before in regards to like governed islands or islands that are not really biodiversity, like biodiverse mapped or like really looked into, or we can't get into because the density in certain like locals that are like, there's a lot to it. But when I started diving into it and researching it, what I found really fascinating, Marissa, I forgot to tell you about this because I think you would be like, what the fudge? This is cool. Was that
of course she would.
In like the 70s, our maps and certain islands were on those maps that in the 90s, they no longer are on those maps that are printed in public, like put in the public. And so it's really fascinating.
Thank you, Michelle.
I pulled maps at the library while I was there from like old world map, vintage maps. And I'm like, why are there these islands that are marked that old world explorers that on boats actually found, marked down, and were starting to be scientifically examined and exhumed and all this stuff. And now they don't exist. So, and it's not like it was a long period of time. We're talking about like 30 years, an island's not going to sink. It doesn't happen like that. It takes thousands of years for something to happen to an island.
Obviously not 10,000.
No, but what I'm saying is like, I just started to wonder if there were more islands with natives like that, and the only way that they could protect the people from going there and affecting what research they're doing by monitoring or handling the situation is by removing it from the map so people aren't aware of those said islands, to where the interest to go and explore or get a funding from a university to go and do what they need to do, they wouldn't know about it. So if it's not visually on a map, you don't know it exists. It's just kind of like,
and let me ask you this one more thing. All of you,
interesting.
If you go on Google Earth, right, Marissa, and you look on Google Earth,
they
blur out half the ocean.
Oh yeah,
it's blurred. Like you may be able to look an inch off the island there on any continent you're looking at.
Yeah, lots blurred.
But they blur everything out there. What the fuck is that? Why do they do that? Why can't we just hunt the ocean?
Constantly changing. It's not like
no. I mean, it's just blurred. I mean, they just blur it. Like some of the big oil refineries, they're blurred. There are islands out there that are blurred. You can't even zoom in on them.
Yeah,
they're blurred.
It's a proprietary thing too. You know that there's something like if it's privately owned, you know, it could be some proprietary business situation or something people don't
I agree. I just thought, wow, you can zoom all over the world, but you can't. Like we used to zoom in on the big American crocodiles in Florida, down in the Everglades. You'd zoom in on them. They're laying there. And I'm like, look, there's a crocodile on the satellite. Look at the size of that motherfucker, right? But you go out to some of these other places. I'm like, oh, let's look out in the ocean a little bit. And they're like, oh, no, we're going to blur that. We're going to make it all pixelated so you can't see it.
It is really, it's really choppy, very blurred. Yeah, there are parts.
Well, I don't know why. I understand what Jeff's saying, 100% correct, private islands, etc. But the whole ocean?
The ocean's a major mystery. That's like when I started researching the ocean for my work, what I found really fascinating is I came across some marine biologists that were explaining to me that we have what's called the Great White Cafe in the middle of the ocean, heading between Catalina Island towards Hawaii. And every year, same time of year, something calls the great whites to this part of the ocean. There's nothing there. There's no land. There's no nothing. And they don't mate. They don't eat. They don't do shit. They circle.
No.
And circle. That's all they do. They get into like a trance, and something magnetic pulls them there. They circle and they circle for, I think it's like a week or week and a half. And then they all disperse, and that's it. And they do not know why this happens every year, but it's called the Great White Cafe. It happens every year.
Well,
and I find it fascinating.
On that note, I'm going to close down the show. No, she might be frozen, but she looks good there. So we're going to leave her there. And then I'm going to end the show because she's frozen. But thanks everybody for coming out and spending time with us and watching our show, The Lost Monster Files. And also thanks for coming on the Motley Croc show with us and hanging out with me and Brittany and the Satanic Panic, Marissa, Samantha, what's up? Everybody's here, and
Hi,
I just want to thank
Samantha.
everybody for coming out. Check out our show. It's on Discovery Channel. It's called Lost Monster Files. We spent a lot of time out in the woods doing that. A good 7-8 months of filming. It was a lot of stuff. And so we just want to say thank you for coming.
Thank you,
And we
Merlin.
appreciate everybody being here. And we'll see you next week. Enjoy next Wednesday's show, and we'll touch on that then and all the way through the finale, and we'll see what we got, guys. So we appreciate it.
Yes.
Thanks for coming, and good night.